Lily Madwhip, Must Die, Epilogue. I'm sitting in a booth at a roadside restaurant named Hank's Diner. There is no actual Hank. The Hank who named this place after himself sold it off years ago, retired, and died. Now it belongs to someone named Sid, but he didn't want to name it Sid's Diner, so he left Hank's name there. It's a bit morbid to eat at a dead guy's diner, but here we are. The seat cushions in this booth are red and squishy, but also brown and stiff in some places. The material is cracked and the foam insides exposed like gaping wounds. Speaking of morbid, yeesh. The only way I can get my butt comfortable is by sitting with one leg crossed beneath me. Outside, the night overwhelms everything. I take a sip of an off-brand Dr. Pepper soda to try to settle my tummy, which is currently doing cartwheels in my chest cavity. The waitress approaches me in a pink checkered uniform with a white apron that's got yellow grease splotches all over it. Her name is Glynis Welch, no relation to my arch enemy, Lisa Welch. Glynis is a mother of two, grandmother of two, has been married twice, divorced twice, and has two cats at home in her apartment, which is, surprisingly, not on the second floor of her apartment building, but she was born in February. I find her fascinating. I wonder how much of her life is defined by the number 2. Where'd your father go? Glynis asks me. She does not find me equally fascinating. The only thing Glynis finds fascinating is how big of a tip she's going to get. The father she is referring to is Dutch, who excused himself just 5 minutes ago to use the bathroom. She's worried we're going to stiff her on the check. Neither of us looks like we're exactly rolling in dough. If anything, we look like we roll in mud like that Peanuts character, Pigpen. Some of this mud on me is actually blood, but Glynis doesn't need to know that. He's in the bathroom. I jab my thumb in the direction of their restrooms. Don't worry, we wouldn't leave without paying. Her face turns red, a response to being called out on her concerns about us dining and dashing. I wasn't thinking that, hun. She lies. Her eyes survey the landscape of our table, trying to find anything to use to change the subject. Her attention eventually finds its way to my head. That's a cute headband. It's my Rambo band. Oh, okay. She wants to walk away from this conversation. What is with this weird, dirty-looking little girl sipping her Mr. Pibb in the middle of the night when she should be in bed, dreaming of homework and cartoons about wacky, talking animals? Glynis could be talking to the guy working the grill in the back of the diner instead of to me. His name is Bartholomew. He insists on being called by his full name because he doesn't want to be associated with the Simpsons character, who he finds annoying. Glynis and Bartholomew get along like peanut butter and chocolate, or is it chocolate and peanut butter? Glynis takes a couple dishes away with a mumbled, "I'll be back," nonchalantly turning Dutch's plate over and marveling at how polished and clean it is as she walks away. The guy ate like he never had a cooked meal before. The truth is, he was trained to feed that way in the military. Take what you want, but eat what you take. My Nana used to say that too. It's a generational thing. Lily, a shadow slides into the booth seat across from me, in the spot Dutch was in minutes ago. I look up to see a man staring at me. It takes me a moment to recognize Nathaniel. His face is paler than I remember it being before, and his eyes have big, dark circles around them, like his whole face is turning into a giant bruise. Nate smiles at me, but there's sadness behind it, and pain. I'm just impressed he's up and about considering not that long ago he was split up the middle like a human wishbone. I wonder if they found a flesh stitcher to speed up his recovery. It's Alex now, I tell him. He nods. Right, sorry. He reaches into his big trench coat and pulls out a stack of thin, tan books with my old name written in cursive. I believe these belong to you. My jaw almost hits the table. No way! I grab my journals and clutch them to my chest. I had just assumed that they were going to be lost forever, maybe buried with my other body, which is going to be buried next to Mom and Dad and Roger in the Madwhip family plot. Nate's smile broadens ever so slightly. He cinches his coat closed and glances around. Your friend, Detective Gumby, had them. I snort out a laugh at him, using Detective Guthrie's nickname I gave him by accident. Is he going to be looking for them? No, he gave them to me willingly, Nate says, taking a moment to clear his throat. I may have given him the impression that I was an officer of the law and was going to be placing them in evidence. Looking like that? I ask in disbelief. Maybe Guthrie isn't as great of a detective as I thought he was. Now it's Nate's turn to snort laugh. I applied a bit of a glamour with the help of one of the remaining dream kind. He can tell I have no idea what he's saying. That's like an illusion. Glynis eyeballs us from the kitchen. She's wondering who the strange man is talking to that underage girl in her establishment this late at night. Is my father going to come back from the bathroom in time to keep her safe? Does Bartholomew need to get that Louisville slugger he keeps by the freezer door? Should she call the cops? I smile and wave to her. She immediately snaps out of her trance and turns away, saying something to Bartholomew that I can't hear. Nate coughs again. It sounds dry and scratchy. The napkin I left sticking out from under my bowl sizzles and turns black around the edges. I pluck an ice cube out of my drink and rub it over the napkin, too. Keep it from catching fire. Sorry about that, Nate says bashfully. He rubs the tips of his thumbs against his other fingers. I'm still not at 100%. Then why are you here? I ask. Why have they got you running around fetching my journals for me? You should be in bed, sipping on a hot bowl of soup, or, I don't know, in the freaking emergency ward. Azrael said the same thing, but I volunteered. I wanted to be the one to do this for you. But why? Nate's smile twitches at the edges. His eyes get that misty look an adult's eyes get when they're trying not to cry. Because I wanted to say thank you. Thank you? I mean, thank me? For finding Meredith and getting her home. You're a good friend. He pauses. You're a good person. His words feel like a dagger in my heart. I look down at my roasted napkin and mindlessly play with the melting ice cube. But everything that happened to her, it was all my fault, I remind him. No, it's not. He reaches across the table and touches my hand. His fingers are really warm, like ridiculously warm, unnaturally warm. For a second, my mind instinctively tries to jerk my hand away to prevent getting burned. But through sheer force of will, I don't let it. I can't make you not believe that, but you should know that Meredith doesn't. Isn't that what really matters? Nobody else does either. We know Samael caused all of this. I'm sure he believes that. Pashar believes it too, but I don't believe it. Only some things were caused by Samael's actions, but many things were caused by my own. I have to take responsibility for the things I do, especially when they cause harm to others. I don't say this though, I just shrug. No sense in arguing with someone who is dead set on trying to cheer me up. I casually flip open the top journal and reread a few entries I wrote weeks ago, back when the world still made sense. I don't always get to write things in the moment, so I try to make sure to jot stuff down that happens to me when I'm able. Sometimes that leads to me getting details wrong because I write about them so much later, like my first jaunt into the Vale 2 years ago. What a pain in the ass it was to recall everything that happened and get that all written down after the fact. Wait, someone else wrote something after my most recent entry. It's in sloppy, cursive handwriting. I can barely read parts of it. I joined the police force to protect those who could not protect themselves, to bring justice for those who are wronged, and to ensure the safety of all. I wanted my son to grow up in a world where he felt safe because he knew I was looking out for him. I admit that over the years, it has been a struggle to not feel jaded by witnessing the harm that people do to one another. Violence, cruelty, abuse, and abandonment are choices people make. There are no accidents. Despite it all, I've always tried to reject the normalizing of evil. A child died this week. It happened so violently and suddenly that I doubt she even felt it. But I felt it. I was there when it happened. I couldn't save her. I could only avenge her. I shouldn't say that. The killer had a gun. I shot him for my own safety. I shot him as much out of fear as out of rage. Christ, you'd think I was a rookie for letting myself get attached to a victim. Her name was Lily. She was sad and dark and lonely. I knew her because I was the lead investigator into the death of her parents a couple years prior. Everyone that knew Lily seemed to die in horrible accidents. Her brother, her parents, her pets, her friends, even her foster family. It was like she was a walking curse, and she knew it. I can't imagine living with that. The knowledge that anyone who gets close to you will suffer. Maybe that's why she pushed me away when I tried to reach out to her. I can't help but wonder if she wanted to die. I shouldn't think about it, and yet it eats at me. It always seemed to me that she danced on the edge of a razor, daring the world to make her bleed until finally it did. The man who killed her had a history of violence and should never have been allowed around children. How he got a job at a traveling carnival that caters to families is a mystery I hope I solve one day. Someone put him on that field, gave him that gun, and pointed him at a 12-year-old girl. Despite the tragedy, I do find a glimmer of hope in all this. Lily believed in something beyond her life. I've been skimming through these journals in which she wrote about strange experiences with angelic beings, walking in a realm of death and pure imagination, battling powerful enemies like she was some sort of fantasy heroine. As fantastic as it all was, what truly sold it was her absolute belief in everything she described. As far as I can tell, Lily was never diagnosed with any sort of mental disorder. Maybe it was all a coping mechanism for dealing with the constant death that seemed to follow her. The thing is, she was so persuasive in her fantasy world that I almost believed in it myself at times. She actually sold me on the notion that she knew the future, that she talked to angels and the dead. I'm a grown man, someone who knows what is real and what isn't, and yet she had me questioning the reality I know to be true. She was a unique soul, that little girl. Maybe that's why I'm so shaken by her death. If I believe the things she told me about the world beyond, shouldn't I be happy for her? Something bothers me, though. For starters, Lily had a doll. Every time I saw her, she had it with her. In her journals, she talked about it as if it was an angel or some sort of walkie-talkie that let her speak directly to them. I've looked for it. It wasn't on her when she died. I've been unable to find it. Did someone else take it? Who has the doll and what are they going to do with it? I'm probably being ridiculous. After all, a doll is just a doll. But she had me believe in its power once. Who knows who else she may have convinced? The entry goes on for another paragraph, but it's most unreadable. I've heard that some grown-ups have a special kind of writing that makes sense to them and nobody else. Kind of like Morse code only. Nobody, but you can read it. Detective Guthrie wrote in my journal. I look up. Nate's gone. He didn't even say goodbye. It's just me and Glynis in the otherwise empty restaurant. Bartholomew in the kitchen, of course. And Dutch in the toilet. Not the toilet itself. I mean the toilet room. The restroom. I don't know why they call it a restroom, though, since nobody really uses it to rest. If I go in a place called a restroom, I expect there to be couches to lie down on and maybe some elevator music to put you to sleep, not some stinky bathroom that a dozen other people have used and left their germs all over. Glynis comes back over, reluctantly. Friend of yours? She asks me. She's talking about Nathaniel. Maybe. I stare at her. She has no idea how good I am at staring. She stares back. She loses. Just wanted to make sure you're okay. Your father is taking a while, huh? She looks out the big window at Dutch's beat-up old truck that we arrived in. What she's really making sure is that he isn't sitting in it, ready to start the engine. As if he heard her, Dutch finally comes out of the bathroom. Both of his hands are dripping wet. The blow dryer in the men's room is on the fritz. He slides into the booth across from me, frowns for the briefest of seconds as he notices Nathaniel's lingering butt warmth, then looks at the waitress and me and mutters, "Sorry," to nobody specific. Glynis takes it to be directed at her, and she shrugs. "We thought maybe you fell in," she offers with a half-hearted chuckle. "No, We didn't, I tell Dutch. I don't need him thinking I'm speculating on his bathroom activities with some strange lady. I don't want our relationship starting off like that. He needs to know he can trust me not to talk about him when he isn't around. Trust. It's going to be life or death for us both. Glynis's face turns red again. She gives me a quick frown and starts to stutter something, then twitches and her fake smile returns. Can I get you anything else? Just the check, please, ma'am, Dutch says, wiping his wet hands on the paper napkins that came with our meal. He looks at me, gives a head nod in the direction he just came from, and asks, "Did you need to go before we head out?" "Yes," I lie, and then gather up my pile of journals and hurry walk to the other restroom, leaving the two of them to handle the bill. I don't have to go. I just need a moment alone with my books. As I predicted, the bathroom smells. There's a lavender air freshener on one of the sinks, and it adds a nauseating aroma to the mix of odors. I go into the farthest stall just in case Glynis comes in, but in my mind, I know she won't. The last thing she wants to do is come looking for me when I'm out of her sight. She's actually relieved. Story of my life, really. People being relieved I'm gone. I pull my feet up, hugging my journals to my chest, and cry. My ribs feel tight like they're crushing my organs. I don't care. Let my organs get mashed into slime. Let them run out of my belly button and pool on the floor of this bathroom. "I'm sorry, Guthrie," I whisper to him, as if the journal we both wrote in has formed a psychic connection between us, and he can hear me apologize. But he can't. He'll never know that I lived. He'll die thinking he failed to protect me, and I hate myself for causing his faith in himself to falter more than anything else I ever said or did to him. I take the next several minutes rocking gently on the seat and whispering apologies to a man hundreds of miles away who can't hear me. Then I clean myself up so it's not obvious I was crying, dry my hands with the working blow dryer, gather up my journals, and pop back out into the restaurant. When I come out of the bathroom, Dutch is putting on his jacket. He hands me mine, something we bought at an outlet mall on the state line. It's made of jean material and has patches of cartoon kitties on the front and back. It was this or an ugly yellow sweater. "Y'all take care," Glynis calls after us as we exit the front with its little jingling bell. She doesn't mean it. It's sometime near midnight, and we're not stopping until we're at least 2 states away. Then we can pull over and sleep. No sooner. I need to get far, far away from where we started to feel even remotely all right. I told Dutch that before we stopped for food, and he nodded quietly. I know he won't argue. His worldview was shattered the moment he learned that angels are real. He would fight for them, die for them, and they told him his duty was to protect me. He'll do it without question. They're using him in a way, and though I feel a little weird about it, I'm not going to stop it, because without him, where does that leave me? Alone? That's where. And then, I'm as good as dead. I wanted to die once, maybe several times, but not today. I have to make things right first, no matter how long that takes, even if it takes forever. "Do you have any idea where we're going?" asks Dutch over the music he turned on to keep himself awake. I only have one clue to start with. The name of a place I heard Samael use when talking to Ono after using that flesh stitcher to patch me up. Narvik, he had said. I just need to figure out where that is, find that flesh stitcher, send it home, and then the angel radio fills my brain with information about this place. Narvik. Apparently, it's in Norway, on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, that's not going to be our first stop, definitely. There's no way we're getting to Norway without passports. I can't tell Dutch this, though. I'm going to have to get in touch with Dumas or Baratiel and figure something else out. I'll know when we get there. I lie with confidence. "Have you got a pen?" "Check the glove compartment. That pen you stole from a bank?" It ran out of ink and I threw it away. There should be another. Check around. Of course there's always a pen in the glove box. You can throw out a zillion dead pens and still pop open the glove box and find a pen. It's like magic. You know what you won't find in a glove box? Gloves. Does a glove box ever have gloves in it? It must have at some point. Otherwise, why did someone name it the glove box? It should be named the flashlight box, or maybe the owner's manual compartment. And yep, there is another pen, thankfully. It's a long, erasable ballpoint with the words Dutch Brothers Plumbing on the side. I scribble it on my pant leg to see if it works. It does. Dutch sees the name on the pen. My brother Werner had a bunch of those made, back when we tried to start a business together. He doesn't mention that his brother Werner died during the same war Dutch was a soldier in. He took shrapnel from a landmine that somebody else stepped on. Imagine dying because someone else was careless. I'm sorry, Meredith. I take the Dutch Brothers plumbing pen and scratch out my old name on this journal. Alex's journal, I write. I really need to work on that signature. My capital A looks like Pac-Man with a runny nose. I flip the book open to the entry before Guthrie's. What did I last write down? The laundry room door crumbles to ash? Oh man, I'm so behind on writing in this thing. I flip back past Guthrie's entry and scribble the date from a week ago before writing what I can remember of my thoughts and actions. All right, Lily. It's no big deal. So you've got the devil chilling in your meatball. It feels weird calling myself Lily when I just wrote my name as Alex on the cover. Best to stick with things as they happened, though. So, I don't confuse myself as an adult if I reread all this. Dutch glances at my hand, scribbling furiously. What are you writing about? The past. I don't look up. The road is bumpy, and the truck's shocks are garbage. It takes Herculean effort to keep my hand from turning the page into an infant's attempt at a Picasso. Do you ever write about the future? Never in the moment where it would matter. Ahead of us, the road is dark and empty. Everything and everyone we know lies behind us. But the world is round, and you can only go so far before what once lay behind you now lies ahead instead. Maybe someday I'll go home. Maybe I'll stop by my own grave and leave myself a flower. A lily, just because. Maybe.